Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Facu, and because this is a chain agnostic conference, I think I need to ask who of you know the Cosmos? Like, raise your hand. Okay, cool. And the Cosmos SDK? Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna get started with who am I? So I'm Facu. I work at Binary Builders. I'm a Cosmos SDK core contributor. And there were supposed to be flags over there, but I'm originally from Argentina, and I'm moving to Andorra pretty soon. So I'm going to be around. And this is my cat, just to make the slideshow more enjoyable. So, what's the Cosmos SDK? So very few of you know about the Cosmos and the Cosmos SDK. So the Cosmos is this ecosystem of a lot of chains. We have hundreds of chains that are interconnected between them, but they are all sovereign. So not one blockchain can affect the others unless that's a goal with that, because that's possible in Cosmos. And what's the Cosmos SDK? It's basically a toolkit to build blockchains or decentralized applications. So some of our most known users are the Cosmos Hub, which is the Atom token. The YDX, they built their decentralized exchange using the Cosmos SDK. They did this because we're going to see it later, but because they had lots of flexibility, they put a lot of custom code in it, and they built this super efficient and optimized blockchain with the Cosmos SDK. Also, we have a cache, Osmosis. Chronos, the chain from crypto.com, uses the Cosmos SDK, and their team is also a contributor to our code base, which is pretty cool. We also have Celestia, we have Dimension, we have Neutron, we have Noble. We have lots of chains building on top of the Cosmos SDK. So why these users chose the Cosmos SDK? So we have many benefits, right? So I'm going to try to go over the main ones that for me are the most important. So first of all, you get to focus on your application logic. So basically, it's like you get to ignore all the complex parts of a blockchain until you want to actually bother about looking into that. So basically, because the stack is so well built and battle tested, you can start building your chain and forget about complexities like the peer-to-peer layer. You get to forget about the consensus layer, and you just focus on building your app. Also, your app is basically just simple Golang code, and it's not like you have to be too mindful that you are building for a blockchain. You just need to make sure you are doing everything in a deterministic manner. That means that 100% of the times, like if you run a function 100 times, you need to get the same output 100 times. That's like the only prerequisite for your app to work with the Cosmos SDK, or actually in any blockchain. So it's nothing special. So we also have modular design. So everything is fairly modular, and we are pushing even farther with this view. So everything it's going to be and it is right now a Go module. So you can be mixing and matching versions and modules. And these modules can be stuff that we already have in the Cosmos SDK, and we include out of the box, like the staking or the bank module that allows you to have a proof of a stake chain. And the bank module allows you to basically create tokens and move tokens around and that kind of thing. But you can also create your own module and bring it over to your app, and yeah, so you can, and also you can be okay, I see this other chain that is open source that has this pretty cool module for this or that, and you can just bring it to your chain, and it's going to work out of the box too. Sovereignty, well, so the main difference, also because this is a chain agnostic conference, this might sound weird, but in Cosmos, we usually don't worry about NFT launches somewhere else in the chain. So if you, for example, in Ethereum or any other chain that everything happens in a single VM, you can have problems with your app working if someone else is using the network a lot. So you have a lot of transactions for other applications going on, and you have to compete with those. So your users are going to end up paying more in fees just to make your app work. In Cosmos, because everything is like separate chains, everyone has its own mempool, everyone has its own block space, so you're not competing against anyone, and you can make sure that your chain will work, even though someone else launched an NFTs in another Cosmos chain. We also have, well, your IBC connected out of the box. Okay, this doesn't really make sense in chain agnostic conference maybe, but if you heard about IBC, IBC it's an inter-blockchain communication protocol, which allows you to bridge tokens or information or anything between chains, and this is also out of the box, and it works with cryptographic proofs, so you don't have to trust a bridge. So like until this point, I think there has been 0 hacks involving IBC bridges, and we are breaching like billions and billions of dollars every day, and it's like working, and no one was able to hack it so far, and let's hope it stays that way. And finally, this is along the lines of the modular design, but you get to choose your own adventure. What I mean by this is that you can choose how much or how little complexity you want to have in your own chain, right? So you can be like, okay, I want to like rewrite the whole consensus layer. Okay, you can do that, and you can still use the rest of the Cosmos SDK. Or you could be like, oh no, I'm going to just use the vanilla Cosmos SDK configuration, and I'm going to just write the small module that does my very specific application thing. But it's up to you, and you can do both. Like you can even start with a vanilla configuration and start adding stuff onto your chain as time passes. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And also, maybe, whoops, shit happens.
Not working anymore?
Oh yeah, okay, click works. Okay, also about like following the choose your own adventure, we have so much flexibility that it allowed our users to build stuff that maybe it's not related to Cosmos at all. So for example, we have teams using SSZ, which is native from Ethereum, so Ethereum uses SSZ. You have the EIP 4844, there's a team also building that on top of their Cosmos chain. Randa, also another thing from Ethereum, well, you can actually build that on a Cosmos chain too. You can have a proof of authority chain if you want to, and there are chains doing that, I think mostly enterprise users. And then also we have rollups. So let's say, for example, Celestia, I don't know if you know them, but they have this thing called Rollkit, and Rollkit, it's basically just a module that you can input in your Cosmos SDK app, in your Cosmos SDK blockchain, and it's going to work as a rollup, like right away. You don't have to change anything. And your code, it's going to be just the same as before, and you can be like, okay, I'm going to be developing a rollup, and then last minute you're like, maybe I'm going to just launch a sovereign chain with my own validator set and all of that. Okay, you can do that. Yeah. Both. Yeah. So there are some teams, like for example, EigenLayer, it's bringing Ethereum security onto Cosmos. So you can run a Cosmos SDK chain that is secured by Ethereum, which is, yeah, pretty crazy, I think.
What about the EIP 4844? Already working?
Yes, it's an implementation that one chain is doing, so it's not like an official thing. And yeah, it's working, but I think it's not public yet. So I was just mentioning the stuff, all the stuff that you can build with Cosmos SDK. But yeah, it works. So yeah, a small meme to light up the the room. So basically, like it's like this meme. I chose this one because it's like there's no wrong path here. You can be okay. I'm gonna start with a vanilla Cosmos SDK configuration out of the box. I'm gonna just like write my module. I'm gonna think about the validator set and how I'm gonna secure it later. I can just like start building my app right away. Or you can be like, oh no, you can bring your own obscure hash function that you found in a paper. And this is basically about like any part of your blockchain. So how the Cosmos SDK team is pushing this view even further is with what we call Server v2. Yeah, we are not very creative with names, but you can see here that everything is modular. This is like a representation of how a blockchain in Cosmos works internally. So if you are like a more basic user, you're gonna be like building right on top. Like you're gonna be like adding a module on there and you're not gonna worry about all of these things happening here. But if you're like a super hardcore user and you wanna, I don't know, have your own mempool kind of thing, you can just come here, swap the mempool, and it's gonna work. Or I don't know, you wanna be even more hardcore and you saw this cool new academic paper released about a new consensus algorithm, and you're like, okay, I can develop that. Okay, you develop it, and then you just like strap it into your Cosmos SDK application, and it just, well, it's usually like not just going to work, but after some hours of debugging, it's going to work, I promise. And then basically you can be swapping any parts of this stack according to your needs. So if you're like more into, I don't know, the storage of your app has to be like Ethereum, okay, you can come here and just swap this part. But this is, yeah, this is the advanced view, right? So it's not like if you want to start developing with the Cosmos SDK, you need to know about all of these phases. So something else I wanted to talk about, it's another thing that I think it's really cool in the Cosmos SDK, and I think it's worth mentioning because, yeah, because not many people here know the Cosmos SDK. It's about accounts. So I think accounts abstractions, everyone has heard about account abstractions? Okay, a few, okay. So account abstractions, like right now, what's how accounts work? Okay, you have your private key, like your ledger, Trezor, whatever, and you use that to sign a transaction to send it on chain. With account abstraction, like accounts are going to be smart accounts. So accounts can use other kinds of authentication to make a transaction, or you can make them do more complex stuff. So you don't have to be like launching like 10 different transactions to accomplish something you want to do, but you can actually have a smart account that it's going to do all of these things for you. So the approach we are taking in the Cosmos SDK is that everything is going to be a smart account. Some of them, of course, less smarter than others, but everything is going to be a smart account. So, well, yeah, I also said that, yeah, we allow the custom methods of authentication. I think passkeys and I don't remember, like social authorization and stuff like that, it's going to be some stuff that we'll see developing in the near future. I'm going to get a bit technical here, just for a sec. So this is one of like the basic interface of our accounts. So we have an initialization handler, execution handler, and query handlers. So basically your account, it's going to be like its own thing that it's going to have its own state and it's going to have its own methods. An example, like an actual example, is our base account that we have in the SDK. You have a pub key, which is just stored there, a sequence, and a bunch of like helper methods that we have. Well, and getting to the end, I'm gonna just like, because this was meant to be like a proper workshop on building a chain, but well, the time it was not gonna be enough. So I'm gonna show you just some slides on how a chain gets launched. So here, if I'm gonna we can probably share the slides afterwards, so you don't have to copy this right now. But I'm gonna show you like a small example that we have built for getting started with developing. So, and it's gonna be as simple as this one. So basically, you just clone this example. You're gonna be like just launching an init command. What this is gonna do, it's gonna do all the setup that usually it's just a bunch of commands that run one after the other. And then finally, you just do start and you get a chain running. This is just to show that it's simple, but if you are more like interested in learning more about this, I can share with you some tutorials that we did, some videos, and we can actually like sit around the table and do it here. And I also want to touch, like to close up this talk, is about modules. So we talked previously, like everything is modular and all of that. And in that slide before, we saw that up there, you see, I don't know if you can read up there, but it says staking, bank, and governance. Well, there are other modules there, and you can add your own there, as I said before. And what are these modules? So how do they work? So these modules can contain their own state. So this means you can be storing information there. In the case of the bank module, you'll be storing balances. You'll be storing like all the tokens that are in circulation in your chain. You can probably like track the total supply of tokens and stuff like that. And but you can also use that in your own module that you are developing. Then we have Begin Blocker. So Begin Blocker, how the chain works, it's basically you have every block. It's going to run through some stages. These stages are basically begin block, run all the transactions that we have in the block, and end block. So what you can do with Begin Blocker is run stuff that you know it's going to run on every single block. You can do like distribution of rewards. You can do like aggregation of data. For example, I know oracles could use the Begin block to aggregate data to make it available to users in a simple manner. So yeah, that's Begin Blocker. Then you have a message server. Message server is what's going to be handling the transactions. So for example, in the bank module, you're going to have a transfer message handler that it's going to receive, okay, a message that says, okay, send this amount of tokens from this account to that account. And that's it. You don't have to worry about authentication at your module level because the Cosmos SDK already took care of that. We make sure that before you get into this message handler, it was already authenticated and we know the signer of the message. So if here you get there and you're like, okay, the sender is this account, you know that the sender is actually that account and you don't have to even think about that. Because, yeah, the SDK took care of that before. Then you have queries. Of course, you can do queries on-chain. So for this, you can query balances and stuff like that in the case of the bank module. And these queries are just like checking, like getting the data from the storage. And that data, you can also be like, hey, get me the balances of this or that account at this height, for example. So you can also do historical queries. And finally, you have NBlocker, because, I don't know, let's say you want to do stuff so the transactions that you executed in this block might have changed something. Okay, then in NBlocker, you can also do aggregation and all of that. It all depends on your app's purpose, right? So you can be like, okay, no, I need to do it in the begin blocker, or I want to do it in the end blocker. So yeah, that's it. And thank you. We are going to open for questions.
Yeah, if you have a question, go ahead and let me know, and I'll get you the microphone.
Okay, that was fast.
Thank you. So if I have understand well, basically the SDK gives you the tools to launch your own blockchain, but this means that you need to bootstrap the blockchain from zero, and the security will depend on the number of nodes you are able to deploy, or you are able to incentivize the people to deploy. But you are not getting a security for the existing blockchains in the ecosystem, nor from the Atom token or anything. It just gives the IBC, which is a kind of bridge compatibility if you want to pass tokens from one to the other, and I don't know if smart contracts too, but the blockchain security is depending on what you bootstrap. Is that correct?
Yes, that's a very good question, because you have many options here. You can be a consumer chain to an existing chain. So like, for example, we have the example of Neutron, that is a consumer chain to the Cosmos Hub. So of course, there's a process to that. So if you want to have your chain to be a consumer chain of another chain, you actually need to ask that chain, hey, I want to be a consumer chain. Can I do it? So, and you pass a governance proposal, and if that chains agree, then you can go ahead and be a consumer chain of that other chain. Or you can be, if you want to be a sovereign chain, you'll have, this is probably like how many chains have done it in the past. They basically have to build a community. They have to bring in professional validators, so validators that are around in the ecosystem, and like pitch them, hey, I'm building this. Are you interested to join my validator set? So you have to go and pitch that to those teams, build a community, and then you're going to have like a full sovereign chain. And then another option is rollups. That's a hot topic right now, and you're going to hear about that a lot, I think, where you can use stuff like Celestia, for example, that uses data availability layer, and you can use their sequencer, and you can have this app that it's going to work attached to this other chain, and you don't have to worry about like the security or anything like that, because it's going to be like every time you're going to be paying for a transaction, that chain, it's going to keep the data of your application. So you don't have a really a validator set, but you're using this other chain. So you have many options, and you can do, you can use whatever you want there.
Okay, and what's the usefulness of the Atom token? For paying these validator nodes to become a user chain, or what's the use of the Atom token?
Well, probably that's like a whole different topic to this, but that's a whole different topic to the Cosmos SDK. Yeah, so the Cosmos SDK is not attached to Atom.
Okay.
So the Atom is actually built using Cosmos SDK, but when you build something with the Cosmos SDK, it doesn't mean you are attached to the Atom token. You can be a whole different token, and you don't even care about the Atom token. So for example, Celestia, it's built with the Cosmos SDK, the YDX is built with the Cosmos SDK, but none of them are linked to the Atom.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right, how about a big round of applause? Thank you.
Thank you.